If you have these thoughts of like, I'm not capable of this, I can't do this, like, who am I to do this? I'm never going to be successful. How are you going to behave? You're going to behave like an entrepreneur who can't do this. It's our brain's job to be like, let me tell you all the things that you could possibly be not thinking about that could go bad so I can protect you so you don't look bad because I don't want you to hurt your ego. This is what I'm doing right now. And then here's the next thing I'm doing. And I'm ignoring literally everything else. As an entrepreneur, you are constantly working to build your capacity for the next level. Am I slowing down enough? Am I going to look back and wish I had slowed down more? Embodied CEOs don't chase trends. They pave the way. They lead from within, moved by purpose, unshaken by noise. When you are the source, you do not need permission. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. I hope you guys are having an amazing week. Oh, it has been such a good week, such a busy week. I really sat on what I wanted to talk about today. I did a more marketing strategy heavy podcast last time, and I really like these ones where I get to share just like my flow of thoughts and behind the scenes intel. And you guys seem to like them too. Just around whatever I'm processing, whatever I'm working on in my business, whatever's happening, that I'm learning from. I think there's a lot that we can learn from people in that way. So as I was sitting here thinking about what I wanted to talk about, one of the things that came up was I want to talk about the things I feel I'm not good at and I actually struggle with. That's one piece, because I think it's so easy to follow someone and then think they have this all figured out and show up perfectly. So I want to talk about that, but I want to tie that to, I think the things that we struggle with are also usually related to our greatest strengths and how I believe you can leverage both. And then I wanted to just share a couple of things, because sometimes people say things to me like, oh, I bet you don't need any help, or like you've got it figured out, or like you're great at everything. And I always am almost like surprised when I hear that, because I'm like, if only you really saw, and I try to show behind the scenes as much as possible. But I had this thought as I was driving today around, all these things that at different levels we struggle with, but are very prevalent, I think, especially in the beginning of starting a business. Like, you never feel like you're doing enough. You are afraid of, am I going to be successful? Am I capable of this? Can I do this? Those things, like the almost imposter syndrome and the fear and the feelings of inadequacy, they don't really go away. And I think people definitely have in their mind, like, when I get to a level, whether that's 6 figures, $1 million, 8 figures, and I think the bar changes, but when I get to a certain level, that's going to go away. And the reality is it doesn't go away. And I was thinking about this because the thought came into my mind today, and I realized, like, there are situations when I am in a room with business owners way ahead of me that I feel inadequate, right? Like, those thoughts come into my brain. Or moments where I feel like, I don't think I can make it to 8 figures. Like, who the heck am I to think that? I have no idea what I'm doing. Or even like, you know, I think sometimes I operate as if like you're not successful yet. And I always check myself. But the point being, those are just thoughts, right? Those are thoughts that have created this feeling. They're actually not reality. And so I want to share that because for some people, they would look at my business and they would look at my life and they would go, wow, like, she's got the dream. She's made it. And I'm still growing. Like, I have a lot more to do, a lot more impact to build. But I have all of those feelings, those same exact feelings that I had when I started my business. So my point being, it's not about, are you having those thoughts and feelings or not? You still have them. You learn to not take them seriously. Or you learn to take action anyways. Like, I don't really give them very much attention, and they're like fleeting thoughts or things that come up, but they don't drive my actions. And I think that is the difference, right? When you're starting your business from the beginning, and if you have these thoughts of like, I'm not capable of this, I can't do this, like, who am I to do this? I'm never going to be successful. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not doing enough. I'm inadequate. I'm, imposter syndrome. If you have those thoughts and then you allow those thoughts to drive your actions, how are you going to behave? You're going to behave like an entrepreneur who can't do this. You're not going to make the decisions you need to make. You're not going to take the risks you need to take. You're not going to take the actions. Put yourself out there, get uncomfortable, and do the things you need to do because you are operating as if you are not capable of doing what you want to do. I still have those thoughts. And if I acted that way, I never would have got a podcast studio. I never would have launched new products. Like, I'm doing things all the time that there are voices in my head going, who do you think you are doing this? So I share that because I want you to know that doesn't go away. I have not solved that. I think it's always going to be there. I think it's just our brain. It's our brain, and it's our brain's job to be like, let me tell you all the things that you could possibly be not thinking about that could go bad so I can protect you so you don't look bad because I don't want you to hurt your ego. That's the first thing. The second thing is I never feel like I have gotten everything done in a day. Like, I always somewhat feel behind, but I don't even want to say behind because it's not like I am like, oh, I'm so behind. I need to catch up. Like, basically, I've learned how to live in a state where I know there's a bunch of people and a bunch of things that need my time and energy. And every day I just make the decision of where it goes. And I am radically strict with it. Like, I think that if you like did a docuseries on me and you followed me around, that would be your biggest takeaway is like, I ignore a lot of things that most people give attention to because I don't have a choice if I want to do all the things I'm doing, if I want to show up all the ways that I'm showing up. So I don't have this like perfectly organized life. Like, in some ways, my day to day can become very chaotic to other people. To me, it's like normal chaos, but it's not stress. Like, I am fully grounded. It's like, this is what I'm doing right now. And then here's the next thing I'm doing. And I'm ignoring literally everything else. I am really known, and I've talked about this on the podcast, but like, I am known for not checking email. There's someone in there making sure there's nothing urgent, but like, I will ignore it for a week because it's not actually urgent. Just this week, like, we had so much happening, and my team probably gets actually really annoyed at this because this is just like an example. And this is where it crosses over into like a weakness sometimes. But we had so much happening, so much to get this launch off the ground that we did. As I'm recording it was yesterday. So much happening. And the podcast was something that had to, and it very rarely, but it had to fall down the list because I had a product launching and a webinar. And it was like, I needed every minute I had to be fully prepared for that webinar. And so my team kept going like, hey, do you have a podcast? Hey, do you have a podcast? And I just stopped replying because I'm like, I'll let you guys know when I have the podcast recorded. And I know that we need to get this out on these dates. Like, it is in my mind, but I've had to restructure and go, unfortunately, we're at a point where that had to get dropped because, I got to get the webinars tomorrow. That's my only priority. So I do that all the time. And it's not ideal. And you know what? I even had the thought of like, here's an insider. My brain for 1 second was like, Emily, you preach consistent content and you're not going to go record your podcast. And then I'm like, but you're teaching a webinar tomorrow filled with valuable content and a brand new training that you've never taught that you've had to build from scratch. That's priority. The podcast can have one this week and next week or whatever. So I share that because I want you to understand I don't operate in this like perfect system and organized and template. Like, there is organized chaos happening, but I'm also not stressed. Like, I'm telling you, this week for most people would have like sent them to the hospital. And it's not even that I can just thrive in that high pressure. I can, but I have learned how to have such a capacity for that level of pressure and stress that I'm not stressed. I'm just like, here's what I can do in this moment. It's all I'm focusing on, my non-negotiables, and that's where we're at. So I want to share that behind the scenes because I really think it's important that you see like that is actually how business is. And I don't know a single entrepreneur, successful entrepreneur that doesn't have that level of stuff happening like that. You don't see it on the front end, right? Like if you would have come to my webinar, you would have had no idea how many hours I put into that and how hard I was grinding to be ready for that webinar. On the computer in my car while my kids are in their class at CrossFit to finish that because that's just what needed to happen. And again, I'm not operating from a place of franticness and stress. Like I am fully grounded, fully rooted, but there's so much happening. So I think that's important because I think you need to understand that I think is the goal. I think the goal as you grow your business and as an entrepreneur, why a lot of people can't be an entrepreneur and need to have a job is because they need to be told what to do and they need predictability and they need stability and they cannot function in that like unknown quote chaos. As an entrepreneur, you are constantly working to build your capacity for the next level because the next level, it's going to be harder. It's going to have more pressure, more responsibility, more happening, and you have to hold that capacity. So the goal is not these like perfect systems and perfect SOPs and everything. Like, sure, they're great. Systems and operations is great. Also, hire a team that doesn't operate this way so they can support you, which my team does, and they do an amazing job. But create more and more capacity to be able to hold that. And I think that's the goal. And people do not realize that until they're in it. And then you're like, what's wrong? It's like all these things are always happening. And then what happens is you fall in this trap of like, oh, once I do this, then I can relax, take a vacation, whatever. No, like I'm leaving tomorrow to go to a Joe Dispenza quick event. And I just launched the biggest launch of the year, but I came in, I did what I needed to do. I'm going to go to this event. I'm going to fully unplug and I'm going to be back. Because I'm not like, oh, once everything's perfect and I launch and everything's done and buttoned and, put a bow on it, then I can go. No, I'm going. It's scheduled. It's done. There's maybe a little bit of last minuteness to it. I literally don't tell my husband this, but we're leaving tomorrow and I just booked the hotel. I was like praying that there was still rooms. Otherwise, I'd have to tell him like, I don't know what happened. Or I could have asked him to do it. But those little things are just Emily. Like Emily just does things last minute like that. Anyways, okay, on this topic, what I wanted to talk about is the things that I feel like I don't do well and I struggle with. Because I really want you to see like the contrast of this. Now, I made this list. When I look at this list, I sat down and I was like, here are the things I could do better. And when I look at this list, I'm like, this all stems from my struggle of slowing down. My system is not wired to slow down. Never has been since I was a kid. Like I have just always been like this. And for a long time, I thought it was, oh, it's a trauma response or, it's something I needed to fix. And in the last year, I've been like, hell no, like this is me. I thrive like this. Now, there's times it gets out of balance. And then, other things in my life might start to struggle, but this is who I am. So when I made this list, I was like, this is all stems from my struggle to slow down and my desire to pack it in. Like, I just want the most extraordinary life. And I said that to my coach the other day. I was talking about, how crazy my week was trying to get training in and everything happening. And he's like, that's like a good crazy. Or what did I say? I did something. Oh, I planned my flights on my last trip to be on my rest day and my active recovery day. And I said, does that make me crazy? And he was like, a good crazy. And I said, good, because I want to be crazy. Normal means normal life. Like, I don't want a normal life. And so this stuff stems from the fact that I'm go big. Go big with training, go big with family and travel and experiencing life. Like that is what I'm here to do. But anyways, this is what I could do better as a human. And this one is top of mind. I have a hard time with my social life. Like I have some really incredible friends that in a second I could meet up with. We could go to dinner, we could do something. I am really bad at prioritizing it. It just constantly gets pushed to the bottom of the list. And I don't know if it's like I don't get very much fulfillment from like a lot of social things like that. Because I know for me, like if I'm not doing something, it's because I have made it not a priority. If I make something a priority, like done overnight, it will become a priority. I struggle with prioritizing pouring into friendships, and actually like making time for friends. And I've told myself the story, like I don't have time for it. Between training, family, and the business, I don't have time for it. And so, I mean, I would say like I do something actually social. It doesn't count like kids, families. That's different, but like my real good friends, every 3 or 4 months, I do one thing. I don't know if that's normal or not. Maybe you guys also are like that. But I feel like I could do a better job pouring into friendships. I also struggle. This is actually a struggle that I think does impact my business that I have to try to do better on. I'm in an industry with a lot of tech, right? Like things that you need to try and play with and understand around AI. And I've created, AI and tech, but AI is really relevant. I've created a company that really runs without me. But there are just some things that I think when something happens or new comes out, it's just beneficial that I understand it. And AI was one of those things. And I feel like I took a longer time to try things like the app I built softwares on, or even ChatGPT. And like, now I use it all the time, but it's because I don't slow down enough to actually like learn something new. I can get stuck in a loop or a habit of like doing the same things every day in terms of the tech and the tools that I use. And I'm just in an industry where we need to innovate that. And so I could benefit probably from some time that's like, you have to learn, this, spend a little bit of time learning this. And I think on the flip side, there are people who can waste a ton of time, like learning and playing with new things. I don't slow down enough to even test or try or learn something. I just skip it. I just keep doing the same thing. So that's another thing. Um, what else I could do better is probably not pushing my team on deadlines as hard as I enjoy to be pushed. However, I will say my direct reports are so like, I want to say used to it, but not in a way where they're just like, this is how it is, whatever. They understand that that's like part of the magic. And I think I've built their capacity too to just like thrive in the chaos and understand like it's all going to be good. I've got you. But I could give us more space. I could do a better job at that. Again, strength, weakness, right? Like my strength is like, here's the deadline. It's basically impossible and we're going to hit it. And we do. We hit it. And that does create, obviously, pressure. And I enjoy it and I can be fine in it. But sometimes employees don't enjoy it as much. So as you grow a big team, you've got to protect them from that. And I think for me, the way I've protected my team from that is I only have 3 direct reports who really understand and are incredible. And they understand the way I work. And so they can protect the rest of the team from this, because CEOs can be destructive with this of like, everything's going great. Let me come in and drop a bomb and create some chaos and let's work on this new project. And why are you guys stressed? It's so exciting. CEOs are known for that. And so I could do better though. I could give us some more space. As I'm saying that, I'm like, how would I do that though? Cuz like we do plan stuff. We just have big goals and I don't want to lower my goals. So I may not be budging on that one. And then the other thing, I mean, this is a lifelong struggle of mine. I put this on my Instagram the other day, which was I was laying in bed at the end of the night, laying with my 5-year-old, just, his head right next to me. And I had these moments that I have where it's just like, am I being present enough? Am I enjoying it enough? Am I slowing down enough? Am I going to look back and wish I slowed down more? I don't know. I don't even know the answer to that. And this is like, I think it's this like push and pull I've had my whole life of like, I want to do so much and I have so many goals and so much I want to accomplish and I want so much growth and it's such a core value of mine and I go big in every area, including my family, you know, with our trips and our experiences. And then there's this part of me that's like, but are you enjoying it fully? Could you enjoy it more? Are you being present to it? Are you just slowing down? And I struggle to slow down. Every single day I struggle to slow down. And it's just this constant tug of war inside of me. And there is the questioning of like, are you doing a good enough job? Are you going to look back and regret this? Honestly, my biggest fear in life, biggest fear that keeps me up at night sometimes, that weighs on me, is to be, 10 years from now and my kids are grown and I look back and I say, I wish I did this different. I wish I didn't work as much. I wish I didn't train as much. I wish I slowed down. And in the moment, I feel like I do have a lot of present moments with them. I never miss their sporting events. Like every evening, from 4:30 on and with my kids, I'm present. Do I do that perfectly? No. I sometimes I struggle to be present. But my biggest fear that keeps me up is to look back and regret how I spent the time on the years that I can't get back. And I have those thoughts daily. And, I think it's good that I have those thoughts because they drive me to be aware of this. They drive me to do better, to be more present, to have awareness, to have a standard, to check myself with it because I struggle with it. If I didn't have that fear and that awareness of that fear, I probably would be way less present. I could easily be on my phone in the evenings, but because I so, want to make sure that I look back and go, I really enjoyed those years. I hope I do. But my fear is that I won't. And, I also think like no matter what, you look back and you go, wow, like it went so fast and you can't get it back. But also at the same point, I can't just sit there and stare at my kids all day, like they don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Like that's also not reality. So those are the things I could do better. Those are the things that I struggle with, that are my mental talk. And, none of it is good or bad. It just is. So I wanted to share this because I don't know, I think it's good to have an inside view on, my life and my thoughts and not have this image of like once you get to a certain level these things go away, because they don't go away. They are always there. And I think you build the skill of learning how to manage the thoughts and manage the feelings and the beliefs, and then choose intentionally what dictates your actions. So, all right, you guys, I'm headed to another Joe Dispenza event tomorrow. It is a short 3-day event for everybody who's been to the bigger one. Just like a little immersion. I'm excited. I'll be meditating a lot. I'm very excited because since the event that I went to in May, I have stuck with pretty much every single day my meditation practice, deep meditation practice. So I feel like this time I'll get even more out of the event, but I'm going in no expectations, just fully present, ready to meditate, ready for the experience, and of course grow myself for you guys, for my team, for my family, for my husband, for me. All right, everybody. I'll talk to you next week.